All right, everybody, welcome back to today's Cabral Concept. What I want to share with you is there's a specific reason why your mind feels wired, why you might feel anxious, overwhelmed, and not being able to calm the body down and go to sleep. So whether it's a long day at work, stressful things that are on your mind, problems you're trying to solve, issues with the kids, or maybe you did a workout later at night. There is something in the body called catecholamines. These drive your body's essentially pleasure centers, reward centers, and focus and attention. All of that's great to have during the day, but when it becomes excessive, that is what we call increased catecholamine production without the inhibitory relaxation. So if you've never heard about them before, you've got dopamine. Dopamine truly is what motivates us. It drives us. We look forward to that reward. And then we have another one called norepinephrine. Norepinephrine, an excitatory neurotransmitter, improves our focus, our attention, and our vigilance, right? Staying awake, staying vigilant. And the third one is epinephrine, also called adrenaline. And this is that fight or flight based excitatory neurotransmitter, or if you want to call it an adrenal hormone, you can call it an adrenal hormone. All of these are well and good. We absolutely need them as part of our healthy hormone system, endocrine system, and also immune system. The problem is when they become excessive in or as opposed to serotonin and GABA, two of our calming and anti-anxiolytic or anti-anxiety neurotransmitters, we become wired, we become anxious, we become overwhelmed. So the goal is, how do we begin to calm these down, especially at night, so that we can get a good night's sleep? So if you've been dealing with racing thoughts or difficulty winding down, trouble falling asleep, even when tired, if you have an elevated heart rate or you've noticed an elevated level of blood pressure, especially at night, as well as waking around 2 to 3 a.m., but even feeling wired when you wake up at 2 to 3 a.m., restless sleep, vivid dreams, all these things that can be a sign that you're dealing with these excessive catecholamines, right? The dopamine, the norepinephrine, and the epinephrine. So here's what we want to do. The root cause is the nervous system. It is the fight or flight based response through the central nervous system, also called the autonomic nervous system part of it, and that is the rest and relax or the fight or flight. When your catecholamines are high, you're in the fight or flight. When they're low, you can move into the rest and relax. Well, yeah, as you probably guessed it, you want to be in the rest and relax when it's time for bed, especially as that sun starts to set. You want to be moving more to relaxation. Now, sometimes though, you will have a late night. You'll go out, consume alcohol maybe, or a late meal. All of those things can actually increase certain catecholamines, which we don't necessarily want. Maybe go to the gym late. Any of these activities can increase catecholamines. So what I want to do with you right now is to share activities or biohacks, healthy biohacks that you can do to decrease these catecholamines anytime you need to. So the first one is this. We need to make sure that we are not having any caffeine after 12 o'clock at the latest in the day, maybe 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. at the very latest. And the reason is most caffeine has a 6-hour half-life in the body. So think about 2 to 3 hours to peak, another 6 hours, you're at 6 to 9 p.m. at night. Some people metabolize caffeine faster than others, but those slow metabolizers of caffeine, it's going to hang around in the blood longer. If you're one of those people, or when you consume caffeine and you see an increase in your blood pressure and or beats per minute, your heart rate, caffeine is affecting you in a negative way, right? So we have to be careful with that. Don't have it on an empty stomach. Have it after a meal. It'll be slower digesting, or start to switch more to decaf, decaffeinated coffees, decaffeinated teas. Of course, a Swiss, water processed, organic, mold-free coffee, the best to do. All right, so that's the caffeine part of it. And then if you can, limit the activities after 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at night that would increase catecholamines, increase stress on the body, whether it's a workout stress or a mental, emotional-based stress. Try to keep that as low as possible. The last one is this. The more and more frequent screen time you have before bed, the more you're going to push norepinephrine, push dopamine. So at some point, we really want to lower the screen and all the scrolling in general, which is little dopamine hits over and over. One of the ways to do that is actually, I'm wearing a pair of blue light blocking glasses right now. Putting these on dulls the effects of the colors right away. So I will wear these, or actually have like well, these are a dark orange pair. I've got another pair that's even more red, I'll say. And what it allows me to do is it really blunts what I'm looking at. And so I do this because I'm filming and there are bright lights and I've got a computer screen. And so it's like all these things that are going on right now. I want to make sure I'm just kind of limiting the amount of light coming into my eyes, because I noticed when I was writing my next book, I was getting a lot of eye strain, and I hadn't had that in my time on this earth. And so what I said is I need to protect these eyes for the next 50, 60 plus years. So let's start to be gentler to them. That can help at night as well. Reduce those lights, put on more of the salt lamps, the amber lights. That's going to help a lot. All right. What else can we do? We can try to make dinner a little bit more of a balanced meal. So solid protein. And believe it or not, you need carbohydrates at night. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to burn my carbs during the day. I'll have them for breakfast. It's better to have them balanced throughout the day. It really is. Now, there's a time and place for everything. And if you're doing body transformation or whatever it might be, I totally understand it. But at night, those carbohydrates help to cut cortisol. Protein doesn't cut cortisol. Fat doesn't cut cortisol. Carbohydrates in their, innate form from nature, those carbs help to relax the sympathetic nervous system. So pretty amazing. You don't have to go overboard, but some complex carbs with your protein at night is going to be really helpful. Okay. Another thing is not have your dinner too close to bed. So 3 to 4 hours before bed is ideal. I know a lot of the biohackers out there are having dinner at 4 o'clock. Honestly, it is a great thing to do, and it will improve your overall biological age. But people like myself are not willing to have that compromise, because truthfully, my daughter at school all day, I'm at work all day, then I do my workout, then we all, convene for dinner. We try to do it as early as we can, but it's about 5:36 because that's what we can do for our family. So my goal is, what do you prioritize in life? A lot of the, the biohackers and longevity people, which again, like I'm a part of the community. It's what I love to teach. It's what I love to help my clients with. I'm not willing to do certain things, right? Even if I got 2 more years of life, I'm not going to skip having dinner with my family. That's not going to happen. During a detox week, sure, different story. Happens, once a quarter. That's it. But I'm still sitting down with them, but I want to be able to enjoy a meal with them. I really do. So that's something that we can look at. But again, what time am I going to bed? Around 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. So if I have dinner by 5:36, great. That's 4 hours before bed. So that's what we're trying to shoot for to the best of your ability. I'm going to go over the nutritional supplements in a moment, because that's the cheat code, right? That's the fastest way to do it, no doubt about that. But other things that are great are being able to go for a light, gentle walk after dinner. You actually get to start to see the rays of the sun begin to set if they haven't already set already, right? So that allows your brain to say, okay, we're going to lower cortisol and start to produce more melatonin. Fantastic. That's the best way that we can do it to start to ramp down those catecholamines. All right. Other great things that you can do as a ritual post-dinner might be to sip on some ginger tea or some mint tea, whatever you enjoy doing. That can help calm the body, calm the nervous system as well. Read a real book. All of those things are great. One thing I like to do is I like to read books, like real books, right? Not on a screen, but I also put on a little mini TENS unit that I'll be sharing in the future. And what this does on the left ear is on the tragus of the ear, it begins to stimulate the vagus nerve. And that helps to calm the central nervous system or sympathetic nervous system, and help to move me out of more of the catecholamine based state, because my body produces, which again, I'm not upset about, I'm happy about it. It allows me to have good focus and work and energy, but I produce a lot of dopamine, a lot of norepinephrine. Even when I had Addison's disease, when I wasn't producing cortisol, I was still producing some of these excitatory neurotransmitters. So doing something like that, getting into a ritual, really calms my body down. A lot of people love to do meditation, lying on a PMF mat. Sometimes sauna works for some people. For me, it doesn't, because as my body gets hot, I produce more histamines. I get more stimulated in that way. So for me, not the best thing. For others, it can be really great. For some people, a hot bath 2 hours before bed, and then the cooling process can take place. Works great for some people. Again, not for me. So you really want to find what does work for you. And the last thing I'll say is this, before we get to the nutritional supplements, breath work. So one of the cheat codes is literally working on bioresonance. So bioresonance-based breathing or biofeedback breathing. You are essentially looking at your Apple Watch or an app, and you're just watching the circle expand and breathing in And as the circle contracts, you're exhaling. Lots of videos on biofeedback or bioresonance breathing. Do that for 3 minutes. You will see your heart rate variability, especially if you're using a heart rate variability chest strap or a device that measures it. You'll see it basically double. If your heart rate variability doubles, it can really only do that by moving from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. So that is unbelievable. It's one of my favorite things to do. I try to do that multiple times throughout the day to reset the nervous system. All right, last one I want to share with you is this. What are the main adaptogens that, just like it says, adaptogen, right? That adapt, allow your body to better handle stress. First one, ashwagandha. So ashwagandha has been around for over 5,000, 6,000 years in Ayurvedic medicine. It's been used by every main Eastern-based form of medicine around the world. It's been studied in clinical medicine. I did a big meta-analysis podcast on what they found. Average is taking about 600 milligrams of ashwagandha reduces your cortisol by about 33%. Pretty phenomenal, right? So it's great. But if you have depressed cortisol, it's not going to lower it too low. That's the nice thing about adaptogen. All right, L-theanine, 100 milligrams to 200 milligrams. Phenomenal at, again, calming central nervous system stress. And I'm going to give you one more. There's others as well, but I like to give you the heavy hitters. I'm going to give you two more because I'd be remiss if I didn't name magnesium. So magnesium, phenomenal for calming the central nervous system. It literally begins to block fight or flight. It takes the calcium channels and the calcium, which is ramped up and being pulled in your blood, and it brings it back where it belongs in the tissues, bones, etc. Okay. So the last one, though, which is probably one of the biggest cheat codes out of them all, is phosphatidylserine. Phosphatidylserine, 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams, fantastic for just knocking down cortisol. It works in the short term, but it's also been shown to work 3 to 6 hours. So it works a long period of time as well. And if you use it on a regular basis, it really helps to block the high spikes, right? So you're better able to deal with stress. The product that we use in our practice is called Adrenal Soothe. You can see it. It's by Equilife. If it works for you, great. If not, you'll be able to take those ingredients at the dosages that I just named, combine them, take them about 30 minutes to 60 minutes before bed with your magnesium, or you can even just take it at dinner. There's no issue with taking them then, and they start to work a few hours before. So now you can calm the body to get into your bedtime-based ritual. So hopefully this was helpful. This is episode 3513. I can't link up any nutritional supplements, but I will link up previous shows if you want to head on over to stevencabral.com/3513. Have an amazing day. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral Concept. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.